Welcome back to Lynx River Talk. Today we are here to review Season 1, Episode 4, Fair Trade. First, though, we are going to go back in time 2 episodes. We forgot to introduce 2 characters.
Our bad. We missed a couple guys.
First one up.
Yep, first one is Walter. He's Walter Golo, one of the sons of Albert and brother of Nathan.
Is he the oldest or middle child?
I'm not sure they ever tell us. I don't know.
I'll find out. Don't worry.
Or if anybody knows, let us know.
I've been really zooming in on the family tree. I will find out. Anyways,
I think we know that Herbert and Walter are older than Nathan. That's about the only thing that we really do know, but I could be mistaken.
No, Nathan is significantly younger. He's supposed to be like 10 years.
Then we have Herbert Golo.
Yes, Herbert Golo.
He's the big guy. He's the really big Golo's son.
And then that's it. So now we're going to introduce the new characters from this episode.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we have Bertha Kiza. Mm-hmm. And so she debuts in this episode. She's friends with Joey and TV.
Yes. And very bad picture. Sorry.
This is the best we could get.
This of Andre Cormier.
Mm-hmm. He's the chief inspector with our CMP.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for the new characters.
Yeah, so now for the summary.
Alright, so we start off, TV and Joey are hunting in the bush, chasing after a rabbit, and they actually lose it, but they find something under the underbrush. You don't really see what it is, but it freaks them out pretty bad. That's the only thing you really know.
Well, it didn't seem, I don't know, it seemed almost like it kind of just surprised them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then Cormier visits Eric and seems kind of critical and mentions his record for keeping Leon dry is 18 months.
Mm-hmm. If you know Leon at this point, yes. That's pretty long.
Yes, but Eric was mentioning how long Leon was currently sober.
Yeah, 1 month.
Yes, and Cormier is kind of just brushing it off, like, mm-hmm. My record's 18.
Uh-huh.
So, and then he wants to have coffee with Michelle.
Yeah, so then we got TV charging money to see what they found. And of course Hannah being...
TV and Joey.
Yeah, Joey's in on it too. And Hannah being, younger and more curious, she wants to come, but then TV and Joey don't want her to because I guess she's, her mom is a Mountie.
Yeah, well, TV didn't even want Marie to bring her over, but Marie is wanting her to give her the money.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're charging $2, so yeah.
$2 admission.
Yeah. And then TV tries talking to Nathan, and Nathan kind of just continues walking, blowing him off in the public eye like usual.
Yeah, we can see that TV's got some hero worship going for Nathan there. He kind of looks up to him as the resident badass, Mm-hmm. And then Hannah, she's upset. We kind of flash ahead to at night because Michelle's telling her what her curfew is. It's 8 o'clock, and mm-hmm. She's really upset. She says, nobody has to be home that early, and she's like, you do.
And we find out her age is 11 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she sneaks out to see what TV found, and because of that, it is late for her curfew.
Yeah, so she ends up seeing what they didn't want her to see in the brush.
And then Cormier thinks Eric isn't plugged into the community and doesn't listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eric gets this from
Michelle.
Michelle leaks a little bit of what her meeting over coffee was about with Cormier.
And Harris. Hannah is grounded, tells eventually because of that. Because she can't stand not being able to see her friends and everything. She tells on TV and Joey.
She drops the dime on him, so to speak.
And tells Michelle about the bones.
Yeah. So and then TV tells Nathan in front of Albert that he found a skeleton. So then they're aware of it.
Yes,
Nathan seems unimpressed.
Yes, but it seems to have perked Albert's ears.
Yeah, Albert's kind of like, hey, what's going on there?
Hannah shows Michelle, which leads to Michelle teaching Hannah kind of a lesson, and Michelle shows Eric and Sarah, who then they find a ring with an M on it.
Yeah, so I guess that's a little clue as to, what the guy's name was. Sarah says that she believes it's a male at that point, a heavy one, about 230 pounds.
Yes. And she wants to be notified if she's right on the weight.
Yeah, she's playing a little game with her weight guessing there. It's kind of like at the fair,
Yes. So TV and Joey threaten Hannah.
Yes, because they know that she told, and they're basically telling if she tells any more and points a finger at them, then she could get in more trouble.
Like, we know where you live, pretty much.
Everybody knows where everybody lives. There's no way out.
Michelle has tea with Elsie, which leads to Elsie telling her about Joe losing a hunter 12 years ago.
Yeah, and then Michelle questions Joe about
while having tea.
Said hunter over more tea. Yeah, she drinks a lot of tea, and then
which later leads to her needing to pee.
Yeah, good point. Good point. You got to the bottom of that before it even happened.
She specifically makes that funny comment to Eric about she drank tea and then she's like, I gotta pee.
Yeah. So skeletal identification team comes in, and then Michelle, Joe, Eric.
Michelle found out from Joe, and Eric found out from Yellowknife the identification of the skeletal remains, which is Michael. Was it McIsaac?
Yeah, McIsaac. I think you're right.
Who died in 1980.
Yeah. So then, Joey and Bertha bug Hannah in the coffee shops. They're kind of leaning on her too, again, about being the Mounties' daughter.
Which was what led to Bertha's introduction.
Yeah, that's when we see Bertha for the first time, really. Or at least that's the first time we notice her because she's speaking.
Yeah, in a very bigger role.
Yeah.
Really bugging Hannah. And then the identification team arrives and they get all to where the remains were found and...
Skeleton's gone.
Yep.
So what happened? Bones are missing.
Albert's in the detachment sitting in, I think, Eric's chair drinking coffee. And tries to kind of bargain.
Mystery solved. Albert stole the bones.
For his ancestors' bones that are unfortunately in a museum.
Which, I'm making light of it, but that is a serious situation. He's lost his ancestors' bones, so he's tried to steal, take the bones that they found and try to trade them for his own family's remains. Peter is mad. He thinks that this is all just a political thing to try to make a big show for the next election. He wants Albert arrested for stealing the bones because basically that he thinks that it's just a show, and then there's no proof to arrest him with. And then he threatens to tell everybody that the Mounties kind of took it easy on him. So.
And then we got Eric threatens TV with 6 months in Hay River for tampering with the bones, and Elsie guilt trips him hard.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a little bit of guilt tripping at first, but then I think a little more later, right?
Oh, right, yeah. This is just a little bit at first, but either way, she still guilt trips him, which leads him to asking Sarah for sleeping pills.
Yeah, which, I mean, it shows it is kind of getting to him, man. He can't
and
sleep at night.
it's even starting to get noticed by Eric and Michelle, who have seen his lights on all night, so they're
they ask him about that.
Yeah, they're kind of like mentioning it, kind of like, TV, you've been up all night, I wonder what's bugging you.
Yeah, and he makes some smart remark about Michelle, which Eric doesn't take very lightly.
Of course.
So Albert goes before the council about the bones, and they're scared of a messy court battle, the lawyers getting involved and it taking forever and costing a lot of money. So he thinks, they're a bunch of wimps for not wanting to go ahead with this.
Yeah, and not just of the messy court battle, but they're also worried about the expense. The widow arrives for Michael's remains.
Yeah, so Miss McAllister comes, and they don't really explain to her at first.
McAllister?
Or McIsaac, sorry.
Home Alone.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's McAllister. I don't know where I'm getting that from.
Yeah.
But anyways, at first they don't really mention to her that the remains are missing. I think they're kind of hoping that they'll find them before they have to mention it to her. But then it ends up coming out to her in subsequent scenes. But so then Leon
tries to raid Albert's stash.
Yeah, and then he finds the bones, which Albert has replaced the alcohol that he had there with the bones. So that kind of freaks him out.
And Eric and Michelle return with it being gone. So TV admits to Elsie he helped Nathan move the bones.
Yeah, that's when he gets the real guilt tripping.
Yes.
And it just it's too much for him, and he's just like, okay, I did it.
Yeah. What was it she said exactly?
When he says they were just bones, and she says, when I am gone, will I be just bones?
Yes.
And
it was just like, oh,
yeah,
Elsie, oh.
Tugs at your heart, for sure.
Oh.
She had a way of delivering those lines, that's
Wilma,
for sure.
Amazing job. Oh. I'm almost crying again. You'll see that happen probably every episode.
Yeah, there are some emotional parts that get to us.
Especially me.
So then TV, oh yeah, sorry, we went to that. Michelle tells the widow what's actually happening. And she actually is receptive. She wants to help out with Albert's cause.
She's almost game immediately.
Which is nice of her, to her credit. She doesn't look ill of him, think ill of him. She just tries to, help him with his situation.
Eric finds out about Albert. Oh, sorry. Albert
finds.
Eric
finds
I
Albert.
Can speak. Sorry. Eric finds Albert waiting with the bones, and tells the story of his grandparents in the museum.
Yeah, and
very sad story about how they were up in
a display case. Yeah.
And everything that was with them and everything, it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine what that would do to you emotionally.
I'm just picturing it.
And Eric, at that point, realizes that Albert is honest, making an honest case about this, and this isn't just a political thing.
Yeah, the circle of life, he says, is not or whatever the
Yeah,
circle.
there's as long as they're trapped in the
Is
museum,
not
their
really-
circle of life isn't
Okay, it was
complete.
circle of life. Okay, wasn't complete. Yeah.
So so then Eric, the widow, and Michelle kind of make a plea to Peter.
And they convince him to help, which leads to Peter then also giving her the permission to bury him in Lynx River.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's not thrilled about the idea, though.
Yeah, well, especially about helping Albert, but
Yeah, but I think also about the guy being buried in Lynx River. He didn't seem thrilled about. It's like, fine, kind of.
So we see Albert and Nathan preparing the burial sites, and that's kind of interesting. Like, we see, how their burial sites are prepared in their town.
TV offers to help, but Nathan refuses. He doesn't even talk to him. He's just like,
yeah.
no.
Well, I think he thinks that it's like not a good time for TV to be bothering, but Albert.
Well, I don't think so. I think he's like kind of. I thought he was kind of mad at TV.
Maybe, but either way, I think Albert, he like sees this as a good thing. Like, TV wants to get involved and learn about their culture, and he accepts TV's help and shows them to give some offerings and where to put them.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it what the offerings were gonna be going in?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just
because everybody was put
that they put the offerings in. That
yes, because
put at the burial site.
Yeah, because everybody was putting the offerings in it later.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So yeah, and then Michael, we find out, was very sick. The man who died, and he didn't tell his wife, and he kind of just came to Lynx River and went off to die.
Yeah, this is kind of his suicide, his way of like leaving his wife, in a way of peaceful death, I guess.
Yeah, well, he knew he was gonna die anyways, so he just wanted to die peacefully and without having to worry his wife, I guess. But
so then we
I mean, isn't she gonna be more worried the fact that your body's missing?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Maybe he didn't think they wouldn't find him, but I mean, he picked a really good place.
So Peter and Albert interviewed by the CBC, so that was kind of an interesting thing. So then they went, sorry, we got the kind of like afterwards talk, and they basically just said, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. Sorry, they're gonna have to in the go along with the status quo in this case because obviously Albert has claim to the bones. They're his family's property.
Yeah, and Cormier checks up, and Eric assures him that their asses are covered.
Yeah, in the media, whatnot. So then Albert, Eric, says that his advice, Cormier's advice to listen to the community helped with the situation, and he listened to it, and that's what helped him out.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you've got this beautiful scene of the kind of funeral-like burial ceremony that they're having for for Albert's grandparents.
Yeah, and I guess it would be for Michael McIsaac too. They don't really mention if he's being buried at the same time, but are we assuming he is? So then I guess we'll get to the questions.
Sorry. So, did you think Cormier was hard on Eric?
Yeah, he definitely was.
Or overly critical, etc.
I guess it was kind of fair, maybe, that he was hard in a way. I mean, he's new there, but I guess he was maybe, I think, a little too hard. I don't know. He's really seemed critical of him, but at the same time, in the end, it did kind of seem to help Eric, because it kind of woke him up to the fact that maybe he needed to listen a little more to the community. And then the second one. So we have Elsie applying the guilt trip on TV. We were wondering, I'm wondering, is there anything that like you've ever had in your past, like where you've had a family member, like your mother, your grandmother, someone like that, pulling a guilt trip on you like that you remember? I mean, no, you don't have to mention specifics, but I can remember it. I mean, basically,
Really?
oh yeah. I mean, my mom used to do it sometimes, like, and just tell me, like, all she had to do is tell me that she was going to tell my dad that I did something bad sometimes, and that would make me feel really bad. Don't fall.
Yeah, I know. It's so far to the floor. Oh my gosh. It's so far to the floor.
So then, our final question.
So TV, do you think TV was right in helping Albert move the bones?
I don't know. Like, I think so.
Or do you think Elsie is right and these are people's bones? Like, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be tit for tat.
This is kind of like a two-phased answer, but I'd say that, like, he was right, but I think he was doing it for the wrong reason. I think he was just doing it to be cool with Nathan
I don't
at first.
think he was right, but I do think he was doing it for the right reason.
Oh, okay. Well, I was like, I think he was doing it for the wrong reasons.
So
Like,
we
he wanted
think
to
it's
just
like completely
exactly,
opposite.
yeah. See, it shows you there's different interpretations, right? But that's why we ask these questions.
But I honestly, I didn't think he was right at all, because, like, why does it doesn't justify it. Why does stealing somebody else's bones justify that?
Oh yeah.
So that's what Elsie was getting at. So I'm on her side.
In the end, it did.
In the end, but I do. But like I said,
have a good result.
I do see why he could have done it. So like I said, I think it's for the right reasons. I think it was the wrong thing for the right reasons.
I personally think what he was doing is he was trying to get in Nathan's good books, and he didn't really care like about it being for good reasons. But then later on, it ended up being for a good reason, because Albert ended up using it to get the bones of his family member back. But that's not necessarily the best way to go about it either, the way Albert did it. But it just ended up working out. He was lucky that I guess that the widow was okay with it.
Yeah,
anyways.
he ended up giving it back even before that. He ended up doing the right thing by kind of giving it to the police and letting them and her do the deciding. So in the end, he as well did the right thing, which is probably why it ended up working out.
Yeah, in this case, Albert was pretty fair in this episode. But anyways, so that's it, I guess.
Keep us up more with your questions to our question. If you could ask Wayne Dale any question, what would you ask him? Let us know in the comments, or Facebook, or email facebook.com/lynxrivertalk or lynxrivertalk@gmail.com. Tune in for next week, season 1, episode 5, Letting Go.
I promise to learn to try to talk a little better next episode. So anyways,
I had issues too.
and she's going to try not to fall off her stool. So anyways.
My foot just slipped.
Okay, yeah, it's perfectly normal.
Okay.
It happens. So anyways, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Lynx River Talk, and thanks for watching. Talk to you later.